Welcome everyone to the fourth episode of Startup Journey. We'll be talking to entrepreneurs and try to know what drives them and what inspires them. Today, I'm really excited to have with me Jen Collings. She is a inspirational mindset speaker. Let me give you a brief introduction about her as I read from her website. She has been through various careers, like from a non-stop crazy traveling across the US, managing promotional marketing tours, to corporate trainings, to teaching 4-year-olds, to being a spokesperson. She has also been an executive assistant to high net worth individuals. She has been an events coordinator, but currently she is one of finding my truth and helping you believe yours. She's currently a mindset speaker, and we would like to know more about her from herself. So welcome, Jen. Go ahead and tell us more about yourself.
Well, thank you so much for having me. Yeah, hearing you read that, I've done quite a lot. I'm definitely not a settle down and do one job type of person, but it's just part of my nature. I really love to get out and enjoy life. And I met my husband 11 years ago while I was traveling and doing promotional marketing. And he had lived in England at the time. So when we got married, I decided it was time to stop traveling. And I became an executive assistant. And I like to think that I'm good at it, but it's not my passion. My passion is getting out and talking to people and just kind of finding out what their life is like and what they're doing. And along the way, I've noticed with the various jobs that you spoke about, when I am talking to people, you tend to learn more about them and they kind of open up to you in a way that makes you feel like you can probe a little bit more for questions. So those are the types of things that used to feed my fire. And I decided just recently I wanted to get back to that. And I do a lot of coaching calls, and I said, you know what, this is fun, this is good. I'm motivating and inspiring people. So that's what I just decided I'm going to start Believe Your Truth. And the reasoning behind that is I think everyone has a goal, a passion, a desire that's deep within them. And it's just bringing it to the forefront of their life and teaching them that it's okay to have those dreams and those passions. And let's get out there and live them and to be unafraid about that. So that's where I started, and that's where I am today.
Great. Jen, tell us, how did you, like I also saw on your LinkedIn that you have been into multiple jobs. So are you doing an independent consultant? Are you being an independent consultant right now, or you still have a regular job?
I still have a 9-to-5 job. I'm still an executive assistant at a really great company that actually promotes entrepreneurship. So I have some great backing behind me with my boss and the owner of the company. And I'm starting to branch out on my own. I'm starting to do some local talks and some coaching on the side. So when I can fit it in there, along with my 2 little girls that I have that keep me very busy, I am starting to do some things on the side for myself and, for other people too, because that's my goal, is to actually help others. So that's the start of my new journey here.
Great. So that's a difficult task in itself, having babies and then still continuing your job so well. So Jen, tell us, at what point of time did you thought of building your own brand and branching out or having your own existence apart from your job?
Yeah, so I kind of think it's like everybody out there that's an entrepreneur. You kind of create it in your mind and you take lots of notes and you write lots of things down and you keep it secret for a while because for some reason in the society that we have today, most people are afraid to talk about it and say what they want to do with their life. So that's exactly what I did. I hid it for a while. I had a whole game plan all set up. And one day I was out to lunch with my husband and I said, you know what? I want you to read something. And I pulled out my phone and I showed him my speech and I showed him some notes. And he literally just sat back and looked at me. He goes, oh my goodness, this is the Jen that I used to know. This is the Jen with that passion and that fire inside of her again. And I cannot wait to watch you do this. So that's when it all started. I just took a leap of faith. I started with my husband, who's I call him my co-pilot in this journey. And then I started talking to some people at work and saying, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And yeah, I now I'm fully out. The website's up, everything's ready to go. I've been doing some talks, I'm doing some coaching. So it took a little bit of a while for me, and it took a lot of courage to go ahead and step out of my comfort zone. But I think that's being an entrepreneur that's what it's about. You know, you have all these ideas and stuff, but it's actually taking the action to get it out there and bring it into the world.
I actually went through your blog where they're really very inspirational, I must say. So I see that you are spreading a message of being yourself and having the courage to follow your heart, even if you are laughed at. I read in some of your blogs. So tell us more about that. Talk about it to everyone else around who is not following or just scared of doing what they feel like. Tell us about that thinking.
Yeah, so I think the one blog that you're talking about, I talk about how we're raised in a society that constantly says, no, you can't do this. No, you shouldn't do that. Stop, you're too young, you're too old. But honestly, I really don't think that that is the way society should make us think. Our mindset needs to change. If we have a goal, a passion, a desire, then we have to take note that that is our soul speaking to us, and we need to start listening to it. So as soon as you start listening to your soul, your heart, and your mind gets involved on a positive level, not a negative level, because for so many of us, our mind will go back to, oh wait, somebody said no to me about that, or somebody said I wouldn't be good at that. So as long as we can change our mindset to thinking, you know what, I can do that, I am good at that, and I should give this a go because I feel it in my soul, then that's where we need to go, and we need to focus on that. It's not about the negative, and it's not about people saying, no, you shouldn't. It's about us saying to ourselves, for ourselves, yes, I can, and I'm good at it, and I'm going to prove everybody else wrong.
So tell us, why is it that few people can do that, whereas others just back off?
Well, that's where the coaching comes into it. So I think for some people, we get so comfortable in our lives, and we just think, you know what, I'm just going to be good enough doing my 9-to-5 job. I'm going to make the money that they tell me I need to make, and I'm not going to venture out doing other things in my life. So for some people, that's okay. And for some people, stepping out of their comfort zone and trying something different, it's very scary. And believe me, I've done a lot of things in my life that were very scary. But in the long run, looking back now, you know, hindsight is 20/20, right? But looking back now, all of those things that scared the living you know what out of me, those were the things that made me who I am today. They made me stronger. And I'm not going to lie, I'm still fearful of doing things, but I have to change the way I think about it and say, you know what, I did this years ago and it brought me here. And so if I do this now, then think of where I'll be, you know, a year down the line or 5 years down the line. So it's all about thinking, going back in your past, your accomplishments, the things that you have achieved, and you have to remember those things. You have to bring them back to light, and you have to say, you know what, I may be scared, and being scared is okay, and making mistakes are okay. It's as long as you learn from those things in your life and you continually put them into motion, it's all good. It's all good.
Jen, we are very intrigued to know one of the scary things you did in your professional life.
Oh my goodness. Well, I think traveling, when I became a promotional marketing person, I did a lot of it locally here. And they asked me to go on the road. And going on the road meant living out of a suitcase for 6 to 9 months out of the year, on the road with complete strangers, and just traveling the country. So I was scared. I was scared to death because I had never really traveled before. And I had so many people, and God rest his soul, one of the main people in my life who always said, you know what, Jenny, give it a shot. That was my grandfather. And he always had such great advice and just always believed in me. So I said, you know what? I'm going to give it a go. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But 4 years later, I was still traveling the country. I was taking all these different promotional marketing tours, and I got to see some amazing sights that most people would never get to see. So it was stepping out of my comfort zone, being willing to go and travel and live life. And it was amazing because on that journey of being scared, that's when I truly found myself. And that's who I got to know who Jen really was and the things that ignited my passion. So stepping out of the fear and into the excitement of it all, that made me part of who I am today.
Great. That is very courageous to travel all alone. Okay. Tell us one instance where you felt like giving up or not. And by the way, is this part of a job or being yourself, like working for yourself?
Working for myself is not part of my job. Yep, it's definitely something that I'm doing on the side.
Still you have built up your own brand, I would say, and stood out of your company's name. So there must have been a lot of courage or self-drive involved. Tell us an instance where you felt like, okay, I don't want to take it anymore. It's not very smooth. I'm very happy with my job. Let me continue doing that. Tell me about an instance where you felt like giving up.
Well, I don't think I've ever felt like giving up. I think the drive in me has taken over all of the fear that I've had. There are times, being an entrepreneur it's scary. It's very difficult because you have to put a lot of time and energy into it. But giving up is not an option. If you have the fire and the drive behind you, and you know that it's okay to be scared, and it's okay to be a little bit uncomfortable in certain circumstances. But I think the main thing that you need to remember is to have good people behind you. If you have good support behind you and you can go to them and say, look, I'm a little scared right now. I'm not sure if this is going to work, and just take their feedback. Having those cheerleaders behind you is so critical. And I'll tell you something else. The way that I met you was through LinkedIn. LinkedIn has been an amazing platform. I've only been on it now for 3 weeks. And the people that I've met, the friendships that I've made, the authenticness of people on LinkedIn. If I reach out to my family on LinkedIn and say, hey, I have a question, or how have you guys done this? What should I do differently? The response that I've gotten from these people who I've never met before in my life is unbelievable. So I have them, my LinkedIn family, and I also have my friends and my family here that stand behind me, and I feel comfortable enough that when I do feel nervous or like I want to throw the towel in, they stop me and say, Jen, no way. This is your dream now. This is what you wanted to do. You're putting your time and your energy into it. And something that I always remember in the back of my mind are my 2 little girls. I want to raise them knowing that they can do and be anything that they want to be. All they have to do is believe in themselves and believe their truth. So those are my guiding forces in life. And, failure is not an option at this point.
Great. Talking about entrepreneurship, tell us, who did you follow, or were there some books or mentors who you listened to or read from? Tell us about that.
Yeah. So honestly, my boss now, Larry Janeski, he runs a school here at the company where he teaches contractors how to run their business. He is one of my mentors. He has taught me quite a lot. And then I follow people like Mel Robbins and Kat Cole and Kerwin. There's so many different speakers out there that I follow and I listen to. And I just read a lot on the internet. There's so much positivity, also negativity. So you've got to be careful. But there's a lot of great stuff out there from people that I follow. And again, going back to LinkedIn, the platform itself is amazing. And you can find people who are inspirational and who give you just a little bit more of a spark if you're having a bad day and you need a pick me up. It's just those kinds of people that you need to follow and of course, just be willing to put yourself out and say, you know what, I need to pick me up. I'm going to read some stuff today. And it's, within a matter of seconds, you feel much better about yourself.
Great. So where do you see yourself going ahead on this entrepreneurship journey? Are you trying to take it forward as a consultant or become a professional speaker, coach? Tell us about that. Any plans?
Yeah, well, so my vision for myself is to become a professional coach. I want to coach more people to believe their truth, just work them through some of those hurdles like we've been talking about here, getting past the fear and the anxiety that you might feel in your life and moving forward. It's a constant, keep moving forward, don't look back. We're not going that way, so keep going forward. So I would love to do some more speaking, talk to, my focus is mostly adolescents, because I believe that they're our future generation of leaders, and women. Nothing against men, but for so long, women have been stifled. We haven't been able to let our voices be heard. So for the younger folks and for the women of the world who, are very entrepreneurial and want to get out there and believe their truth more, those are my key focus groups that I'm working with. So yeah, I would eventually love to see myself doing this full time. And it's part of a visualization, which is another blog that I wrote about, is, if you see yourself doing this and you actually make yourself so involved in it that you can see yourself up on stage with the spotlights and talking to an audience and hugging people afterwards because you've inspired them so much to be able to be who they want to be. That's what I do. I always visualize myself, in that moment and seeing myself get there. So eventually, yes, that is what I would love in life. I would love to do that. And, my key thing is just helping people and inspiring them to be the best that they can be.
Coming to my next question, what message do you want to tell someone who is not doing very well in life or is depressed currently or going through some crisis? Give them some hope.
It's funny because a lot of people say, oh, I totally understand you. But there's a lot of times where we may not understand exactly where somebody is unless we've been in their shoes. But to give someone love and support and understanding, sometimes just a listening ear is the best thing that you can do for them. And, we all have tough times in our lives. But if you have a good support group that you can talk to and you can be honest with, because a lot of times when someone's depressed, they kind of go inward with themselves and they don't want to talk about how they're feeling, but the best thing to do is to talk. So be open to talk to people that you can trust, and someone that really is genuine to want to hear what you're going through and help you get through it. You need to have some foundation people in your life that are there for you through thick and thin. So, I don't really have too much of a, you'll get through it, you'll be great, because you will. But when you're depressed and you're in that moment, you don't feel that way. So if you do have somebody that you can just talk to that's a listening ear or a shoulder to cry on, then go to those people and talk to them, and don't be afraid. The worst thing you can do is be quiet. So speak up, let people help you get through, and you will see the light at the end of the tunnel. There'll be a rainbow waiting for you.
Great. And I think it's more about facing people rather than Facebooking people.
Exactly. I love that. Yes, it's true.
Yeah.
It's even if you do a Zoom call like this, but it's face to face, talk to somebody. Don't, you can put your emotions out there online, but you're probably not going to get the best response and the best advice. So if you have somebody you can talk to live, one-on-one, then definitely. So yeah, face to face, not Facebook. I like that.
And in this day and age, if somebody is not doing well professionally, is there any shortage of opportunities out there? Like,
if you're not doing well professionally, then maybe that's not what you're meant to do. I think, a constant analyzing of your life and what makes you happy is, you always need to do that. If you're not happy with your job, if you're not happy in a relationship, just analyze it. Double check yourself, see what makes you happy, And don't be afraid to go get a new job. You know, there's plenty of opportunities out there. And it may be a completely new change in life, a complete new career. You never know. I mean, that's part of what I talk to people about is go back in time. What feeds your fire? What made you happy and made you you back long ago? And start to think about it. And eventually you'll come up with an answer. And then why not go there again? Why not? You know, if you enjoyed teaching someone dance, or if you used to be a photographer, then why not give it a go again? There's classes.
Mostly people don't do that because they don't see financial stability in that. What do you want to tell them, being visible on internet today?
Yeah, well, finances aren't everything. I know that we need money to live. I get that. But happiness will bring you money. So if you're doing what you like and you decide, if you're a photographer, you want to create your own business and be an entrepreneur, you know what? Why don't you maybe get a part-time job working for somebody else as a photographer and start your own business on the side? It takes time. It takes, baby steps. These things can't happen overnight. So if you set up a goal and a game plan that will get you there eventually, then let's go that way. Go that way, Or like me, I'm still working full time and I'm doing my truth coaching at night and my speaking on the weekends. So you just start to work it in there whenever you can. And yes, you'll be tired, but you'll be happy. And that is the key to all of this.
And I must say, you have a very supporting boss. Not everyone gets such a boss.
Yeah, yep.
Anyways,
very lucky.
Yeah, great. Jen, tell us, how do people reach out to you?
So they can go on to my website, which is jencollings.com, and all my contact information is there. So you can shoot me an email, and I'll be more than happy to talk to you and help out in any way that I can. Or you can find me on LinkedIn. That's probably my most present area is on LinkedIn, where I have some videos and inspirational daily quotes that I put up there. So either way, you can reach out to me through both of those platforms.
Great. Jen, it was very nice and inspirational to talk to you, to know your journey. Thank you very much for sparing time and doing this interview. I'm sure a lot of people, at least even if one person gets inspired, my job is done. So I'm sure many people would learn from your story and reach out to you for more. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it, and keep doing what you're doing. It's very important.
Thank you. Thank you, Jen.
Thank you.